Turkey-Uganda relations. Why are we speaking about Turkey? Because in a few days they will be marking 100 years of independence. And if you can look in my background here, we do have the founder, the man who was behind the change of guard and creating the independence that the Turkish people do enjoy in the country. And of course, embedded in that is also the Turkish relations that we enjoy as the country, Uganda. Next to him, we do have the current president of Turkey, and that is President Recep Erdogan, who is also very instrumental in the conversation that we are going to have today. Of course, noting that Uganda and Turkey are currently enjoying warm and cordial relations, bilateral relations. And the two countries, especially as far as economics is concerned, have actually been having a good, fundamental, workable, appreciated journey collectively. Now, this morning, we have the privilege of sitting down with the ambassador of Turkey to Uganda, His Excellency Fatih Ak. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I greet all our viewers.
Okay, so could you greet them in your language?
Herkese günaydın.
And that's it? What does that mean?
Good morning to everyone.
Okay, all right. So I know that it's just been a few months of you sitting in that exact seat as the ambassador of Turkey to Uganda. First of all, what have you enjoyed about Uganda so far?
Many things indeed. I'm here since 9 months almost. But I was in Uganda almost 2 years ago because I was in Ankara responsible, Deputy Director General responsible for East and South African countries. And among them, Uganda was one of them. And so before I came here, I was working about our bilateral relations with Uganda almost for 4 years. So when I first came to Uganda, I was fascinated with the beautiness of the nature, the weather, and of course the people. And somehow I think someone heard that, it hurt my sympathy towards Uganda. So I am posted as ambassador to Kampala, and I'm very much pleased, and I appreciate the welcome we have received so far in your beautiful country.
Okay, all right. Ambassador, in 4 days, Turkey is going to be marking 100 years of existence as a republic, independent state. But we would like to know a little bit of the history of how that came about.
It's the centenary now. I mean, we will be celebrating 100th anniversary. We celebrate every year as a Republic Day, 29th of October. But this year, since it's the 100th anniversary, it's a special one. And on the 9th of October, I was in Kitgum during the Independence Day celebrations. And I was thinking at that time, we hope, I sincerely hope that we will also see the 100th anniversary of independence of Uganda in 2062. Because 100 years is a long time. This means that we have come a long way in our statehood, and we were able to establish the necessary institutions, and our population is satisfied what the state has been offering to them. After the First World War, Turkey was unfortunately tried to be invaded, but with the leadership of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, we were able to bring our independence. And on 29th of October 1923, the Turkish Grand National Assembly proclaimed the Republic. It was a big change, of course, in the daily lives of the people as well. At that time, of course, Turkey was the population of Turkey was only 13 million. Now we are talking about a country with 86 million people. So we come a long way. We are very happy that we have been accomplishing many achievements in many areas. I also appreciate to hear from my Ugandan colleagues their appreciation, I mean, in this sector or that sector. Sometimes education, sometimes defense industry, sometimes tourism. I'm really happy to be an ambassador of this republic and representing my country on the 100th anniversary.
What have been the significant transformational milestones that Turkey has experienced since 1923?
Historical developments. We passed through Second World War, then Cold War times, and then we moved into a new phase after the 9/11 events in the United States. In every period there were different developments, but when we look back, I believe that we come a long way in terms of providing education, providing security, providing basic services to our people. We come a long way, and we of course still there is room for further development, and especially when we look at from the point of view of our foreign relations with the African continent, for example, we made important progress. The number of our embassies in Africa was only 13 in the year 2005. Okay. Now it's 44. Our trade volume with the African continent was only $5.3 billion in 2003. Now, as of end of 2022, the trade volume between African continent and Turkey is $41 billion, which is a big figure. Of course, with Uganda, it was also there was a parallel development. As of end of 2022, our trade volume reached $94 million. I think still there is a lot of room for increasing this number. And I'm here for this purpose.
Okay, all right. Now let's talk about how Turkey intends to celebrate. I know that with every country, there's significant traditions, there's significant customs that they observe, especially around the independence celebrations. For Turkey, a century later, what are some of those traditions? What are some of those practices that are going to be highlighted as you mark this precious milestone?
Of course, the celebrations in Turkey and in abroad are different because the audience is different. There will be a lot of celebrations in all cities, in all municipalities, especially the students and the governance of the cities. They will organize many events. Abroad, we organize receptions, and on Monday, we will be celebrating and giving a big reception in one of the hotels in Kampala. We have been inviting more than 300 people. We don't know yet our guest of honor, but I'm sure we will be hosting important personalities during that event.
Okay. Will you require them to wear Turkish wear, the skirt maybe?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the political relations that Turkey has with Uganda. We seem to have a lot of similarities. The founder on Turkey, we get to see the same reflection through the general who brought about the change that we see now close to 40 years in Uganda. You talked about the sectors that were crucial for you, Turkey, security and education being two of those, which are also very crucial for us here in Uganda, and they've had stability security, and education. And so in your perspective and from your many years of interacting with Uganda, what do you speak of the political relations, the similarities, and also appreciation of how the two countries are politically related?
We have excellent political relations. Just on Saturday, our presidents were online, made a telephone conversation, very fruitful conversation. Our President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, visited Uganda in 2016. Hopefully, we will work on His Excellency Museveni's visit this time to Turkey. To show this I hope during my tenure I will be able to make this happen. Besides those, of course, excellent political relations, we would like to build political and economic and trade relations. In also our relations with regard to tourism sector, education. We have been providing a lot of scholarships so far to African students and also Uganda. Since 1990s, we provided more than 346 scholarships to Ugandan students. When we look at the picture with regards to Africa, it's more than 15,000. We are so happy to contribute to human capacity of African people and particularly Uganda.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. You have mentioned the president, current president. He did have a first visit back in 2016. Of course, they did meet with the head of state here in Uganda. And between that meeting, there was a blustering of ties between the two countries. Yes. Take us through the current state of diplomatic relations between the two countries.
Of course, there's always room for development. We need to complete the legal basis for our bilateral trade and economic relations. There are some pending agreements, important agreements to be signed. Both countries' entrepreneurs are looking forward for the signature of these agreements. These are, one of them is reciprocal protection and promotion of investments. This agreement has been already negotiated, almost ready to be signed. The other one is avoidance of double taxation. This is also another agreement, crucial agreement to bolster our economic and trade relations. I expect that we will be able to sign these two agreements in the next high-level visit.
Okay, all right. Recently, the United States came out with a business advisory statement, and one of the key issues highlighted was corruption. From your perspective, and with these agreements pending, how do you feel about the business climate in Uganda and investment climate in Uganda?
I think there are big opportunities, big room, as long as the infrastructure of Uganda will be developing in the coming period. We will all see that the Ugandans' foreign trade with the outside world will increase, and there will be more foreign investment in the country. I see big opportunities. I don't say this just because I am representing my country here in Kampala. When you look at the country, especially in the agriculture sector, mining sector, tourism sector, there are big opportunities. As long as Uganda continues to invest in its infrastructure to ease, to encourage the entrepreneurs to invest, I am optimistic for the future of Ugandan economy. And I am also encouraging, in line with this, I am also encouraging Turkish business people, and I am bringing all these opportunities to their attention.
Okay, all right. Still looking at when President Adwan was here in Uganda meeting President Museveni, there were some agreements that were signed. There was a bilateral trade agreement that was formalized for business traffic between the two countries. There's also another one that was regards cooperation frameworks signed during the very same visit, facilitating implementation of several joint projects, especially in agro-industrialization, in ICT, as well as education. What is the status of those particular agreements right now? What have been realized, what have been the benefits, and how has it actually enabled to facilitate the bilateral relations within the two countries?
We signed these agreements on the political level, of course. What is more difficult is to encourage the business circles to make investments in these sectors, as long as they see profits, of course. And
when you say business circles, is that Turkish business circles?
Yes, yes, more frankly speaking, because there's more potential of the Turkish businessmen to come to Uganda. Hopefully, in the future, the Ugandan business people will be also interested in investing in Turkey, because we also want foreign entrepreneurs to invest in our country, because foreign direct investments are important for all countries. We continue to encourage in these sectors our business people, and I hope that we will make progress on these areas.
Okay, speaking of progress, I know that on an annual basis, the Turkish embassy here in Uganda offers about 100 scholarships to students to be able to get advanced skilled training in different sectors. Yes. When it comes to pursuing higher education in various institutions, how has this process been working out for Uganda? And first of all, what's the procedure? Because there's some people who are probably hearing it for the first time and they want to be on the next slot of the 100 students. So how does what's the process, and what sectors are you looking into when it comes to the selection?
Yeah. Every year during January, our online application platform is open, and all students who are eligible for application can follow our announcements through our website, through our Twitter account. You can just Google it and find those accounts easily. We give a certain period of time for the applications. Those applications are carefully examined in Ankara, and then a team comes from Ankara like April, May, and they interview with the potential students, and once they are elected, we provide their plane tickets, their dormitories. We provide them in their first year Turkish lessons before they begin their universities, and these scholarships do not only cover undergraduate students but also postgraduate, I mean masters and doctorate levels. And in any branch they are interested to have this education in Turkey, we are open. We are carefully examining all applications, and in my hand, for example, I have a list of students, Ugandan students who graduated from Turkey. Whenever a company comes and asks me, I want a civil engineer, and then I look at the list and say that, okay, these 3 students are eligible. I give them their contact information. As you may know, there are Turkish companies already in Uganda, especially the construction companies, and new construction companies will also come. So these students are bridging our countries.
All right, Ambassador Fatih. Now, let's go back to that dusty day in February 2023, the 6th of Feb, when you did have the 7.8 earthquake magnitude, hitting the southeast side of Turkey and the side of Syria. About 50,000 now, including Turkish and Syrian, passed away Since then, what has been the recovery and rebuilding of Turkey post that tragedy?
Yes, it was a very unfortunate event at that time, and we lost more than 50,000 people. But at that time, we also discovered how many friends we had all around the world, including Uganda. We were receiving aid, we were receiving rescue teams from many countries. A lot of teams were mobilized from all over the world. Of course, this was during the first weeks of the event. Afterwards, Turkey, with its all power, all institutions, try to help and bring the situation on ground a better phase for all our citizens. Still, there are things to be done, of course, but we were, I think, successful to heal those wounds. Of course, we cannot bring back those who lost their lives, but Turkey is an earthquake country like Japan, and we need to live, and we need to learn to live with this natural disaster. And we also taking this opportunity, I also would like to thank Uganda, because there were some campaigns among people as well here in Uganda, and we were providing those aid materials to Turkey. Turkish Airlines was also very functional on this process. I again would like to thank the Ugandan government and the Ugandan people. We were really touched at that time.
Now, related to still that tragedy, I know that you faced a lot of challenges in terms of evacuation, especially the foreigners that were in the country, Uganda inclusive. We had some people that were stay in Turkey at that time. And so how were you able to collaborate with all these countries to be able to cater to their citizens, you know?
You're watching Morning at NTV. Morning at NTV.
Find their families, those who have passed, deal with that nature of tragedy, and maybe evacuate to send them back home, those that, you know, could be found and be returned home.
My ministry was very active, and our colleagues in Ankara worked a lot for the coordination of this process. There were many ambassadors asked to help in different municipalities where the earthquake happened, and they successfully coordinated the evacuation of these people, and also bringing the aid materials to the people in need. We made it, and I'm really proud of all our colleagues who worked day and night to make this happen. And the earthquake happened in February. The weather was cold in the earthquake region. The conditions were not very suitable, and the infrastructure was also damaged. I mean, it was not easy to travel from one place to another. The airports were also damaged. The roads were damaged. It was not easy. But of course there are lessons we learned from this experience, and my ministry is now very much experienced in evacuating our citizens, and also providing this same service to the friendly countries' citizens, not only during this earthquake but also in other occasions. For example, lately there was difficult times in Khartoum. We made a similar evacuation, but this happens like once a year or twice a year. And just now I will say that we are one of the best countries in processing this kind of evacuation.
Okay. All right.
We now even have a department in our ministry responsible for this.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, there is some good that comes out of every bad. Speaking of which, let's talk about war that is happening somewhere else, the Israeli-Hamas war, and what has been the economic impact of that war on the region and also on Turkey directly.
Violence is not encouraging anyone to make business. Turkey is neighboring to this region. As you know, our country is in a very strategic location between Asia and Europe and Africa. We always come across such crises. This is not the first one. So we know what to do. And of course, we sincerely wish that, first of all, the violence ends, and then we should look for establishing peace in the region. Whenever such crisis happens, Turkish economy is also unfortunately negatively affected. That's why we should also look for establishing peace.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Now coming back to where we are seated this morning in the Turkish embassy, having been established between 2010 and 2011. It's been many years. And so we want to know what have been the most recent developments and agreements between the two countries that are causing socio-economic development.
In 2022 May, we organized Turkey-Uganda Business and Investment Summits, hosted by His Excellency Museveni. At that gathering, like 700 business people from both countries come together. They discuss business opportunities in various areas. Of course, when we compare the Turkish embassy in Kampala, it's not that old. We are a young embassy in Kampala compared to, for example, Nairobi. Our embassy in Nairobi goes back to I think more years. We will continue, hopefully, to work on new draft agreements, as I told you. Our entrepreneurs are awaiting for these agreements to be signed, and a high-level visit is crucial to sign these agreements.
Okay. So apart from the agreements, are there any other crucial investments or projects that are in the pipeline?
Yes. I'm sure you also read it from the newspapers. The construction company, Turkish construction company, is supposed to come to Uganda and build Malaba-Kampala standard cargo railway yapı merkezi. This company is already in Tanzania, in Ethiopia. They have huge experience in building SGRs. They already completed 2 phases in Tanzania, and they are now working on the next 2 phases. Now they are interested to build a similar SGR railway from Malaba to Kampala. The protocol is already signed. Now the details of the contract is discussed between the company and the relevant Ugandan authorities. And I expect and hope that we will be able to see this contract signed in the coming weeks. As I told you, I believe that what we need in Uganda is the improvement of infrastructure. And I sincerely also believe that this project will be a game changer, not only for Uganda, but also for the whole region. Because this SGR has been built in Tanzania, and Kenya is also interested. When we will have this network in the whole East African region, Uganda will be the country, in fact, which will benefit most from this network, since Uganda is a landlocked country. The business people, I hear from them, to Turkish business people and to Ugandans, a container from Turkey comes to Mombasa port with a cost of $1,900. And from Mombasa to Kampala, the cost is $4,000. With this fact, we cannot live. We need to drop the freight costs in order to improve the economy of Uganda, and in order to increase the Uganda's foreign trades with, first of all, with its neighbors and also Turkey. So I hope that we will be able to accomplish this project successfully. There will come new ones, and this will be a game changer.
Okay, all right. Speaking of trade relations, let's focus on the bilateral trade volumes. Just in 2019, you had volumes of up to $41 million in trade between the two countries. 2020 brought it to $63 million in trade within the two countries. Of course, COVID-19 happened, and it affected the entire globe. So that means there was, a setback in trade. And so, talk to us about how, between the two countries, you've been able to reset that pace to go back to those numbers.
Not only Uganda and Turkish economies, but globally we were negatively affected from the pandemic, because it slowed down every kind of production and transportation, and it changed the code of conduct in terms of economic relations between the companies, between the states, and we are still trying to recover from those days. Of course, it also affected the production lines, the supply chains. There were also some other negative developments, like the war in Ukraine. The grain exports of Russia and Ukraine were also affecting all countries, including Africa and Uganda. So we are trying to heal all these ones, and I think we are on the right way forward, and I'm optimistic in that respect that we will overpass those numbers, and we will do even better.
Okay, so what did the numbers look like in comparison 2021, 2022?
Yeah, there was our trade with Uganda was in 2022 $94 million. Previous year it was like 65. So there's an important development in trade figures. And I think that we will have better figures in the coming years, when we take into account as well that these new Turkish companies are coming. When the companies come, they come, of course, with Turkish engineers, technicians. Of course, they also employ Ugandans. Thousands of Ugandans will be employed during this construction. And there will be some materials will be supplied from Turkey and some other resources. So the economic interaction between the countries will increase. Let me also add that another Turkish company, Summa, is supposed to build a sports complex in Kampala. This was also the intention, at least was declared recently, and this will boost our trade and economic relations in the coming years, and we need maybe to put a target. For example, why not to reach $500 million a year? I don't see any reason that we can reach this number in a couple of years.
Okay. Speaking about complements of trade, you do have the East African region that is pushing for visa waivers to be able to have the free trade movement across the region. When it comes to Turkey, a friend recently traveled to the country, and they had difficulty in accessing a visa directly. They'd had to engage with the embassy back home, have it worked on here, and then it's passed on to them, all that causing them delay in their intentions and the programs that they had in Turkey. So when it comes to Turkey, what are the underlying factors there that are challenging to have a more free, movable trade between the two countries?
Turkey is located in a very strategic place between East and West, and we are at the same time in the route of migration. We are both on the route of migration, and we are also a target country, especially with the instability and war in Syria. We are hosting a lot of people from Syria, and also from other crisis regions like Afghanistan. And there is now this illegal migration is a very important topic in our domestic politics. So this is one of the topics in our agenda. So as ambassador of Turkey, of course, I want to give more visas and facilitate visas to Ugandans so that they will travel to Turkey, and they will build more trade relations and make more contracts, and there is more business between our countries. Without human-to-human contact, you cannot build those bridges. And since I came here, I am trying my best to ease and facilitate the visa processes. But this also has the other side of the coin, that we should also take into account the sensibilities in my country, and as long as the visa applicants have the necessary documents and they are eligible, we are more than happy to issue them visas.
Okay, all right. Speaking of embassies, Norway has closed business in Uganda, and most recently North Korea has also closed the doors of embassy to Uganda. Are there any challenges the Turkish embassy is facing as far as being in Uganda is concerned right now?
No, not at all. We are satisfied, and we even want that we have more personnel, more facilities. Currently, we have at our embassy a trade consular, military attaché. We have Turkish Development Agency office in Kololo. We have also consular for interior affairs. I even want to buy a property so that I can build our own embassy and our own residence. I think this clearly reflects the fact that we are happy to be here, and we even want to enlarge our presence. As I told you, new Turkish companies are coming. There are big projects. A lot of Ugandans are traveling to Turkey for tourism, for health tourism as well. So our relations are developing in every sector. So I don't see any reason to be skeptic about our presence in Kampala.
Okay, Ambassador Fatih, I know that you've been here for only 9 months, but usually when the president gets into power, their first 100 days are very crucial. What are the crucial elements that are important in your first 100 days as an ambassador here in Uganda, but also in your tenure here by and large? What is on your agenda?
Of course, when I came in February, this unfortunate earthquake happened in Turkey, and I was really dealing with that unfortunate event for some time. Of course, as ambassadors, we always look forward to high-level visits. So I was also in coordination with the Ugandan embassy in Ankara, trying to make this these kind of high-level visits possible. We work on it. As I told you, if we can have a high-level visit in the coming period, both from Uganda to Turkey or from Turkey to Uganda, further develop our already existing good relations. This is one, I mean, to make high-level visits. Another one, of course, is, as I told you, I'm interested to have our embassy premises, which belongs to our own property. I'm also working on that project. Hopefully, in my end of tenure, we will have some developments in that respect. Also, we also want that business delegations from both countries visit both Turkey and Uganda. We made such visits already. There was recently a delegation, Ugandan delegation visiting Turkey, and then another delegation from Turkey in the tourism sector visited Uganda in September. In May, another delegation, Antalya organized industry zone delegation, paid a visit to Kampala and meet their counterparts here. So during this time, we were able to make 3 businessmen delegations, and hope that we can also make this high-level visit as well. What else can I say? Of course, I am trying to facilitate the visa procedures for the Ugandan citizens, and I know that this is also a challenge because of the reasons I already mentioned. And I want to travel and see all places of Uganda.
Okay.
I was in Kitgum. I was in Ambarara recently.
You saw some good land where you can put up a Turkish embassy.
Yeah. So I want to visit and see the whole country, of course, to have a better idea.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see you at Queen Elizabeth National Park equally.
I hope so. I want it.
Speaking of which, I know that there's also the Organization of Islamic Conference, and I know that's a very significant factor in the cooperation between the two countries. Talk to us about the impact of this umbrella on strengthening cooperation between Turkey and Uganda.
It's a very important tie. As you know, Uganda is a member of OIC, like Turkey, and we always contact and exchange views how to improve our relations within the organization. And this organization also have, from time to time, make joint statements about the global issues, crises, as we have seen last time in the Palestinian case. We are very happy to cooperate within this organization as well, and we are satisfied, and we hope that we will further improve our cooperation. And I also know that the OIC also has a presence in Uganda, and there is also the Development Bank branch in Uganda. The bank is also providing loans for investments. Some Turkish companies are also benefiting from this when they would like to make business and investment in Uganda. So overall, this is a very good opportunity for both countries to further cooperate.
Okay. All right. Speaking of corporations, I know that there's social corporate responsibility, and I know that you've been working on a particular project of children with autism. Could you talk to us about that?
I was really very pleased to learn when I was informed that Turkish Development Agency already completed 69 projects in Uganda since the early 2000s. And for the next year, they are working on now 15 more projects. And I have been engaging the opening ceremonies of some of them, and I have seen how these projects are welcomed in Uganda. So this project is one of it. I was also invited to this opening ceremony of the, and I think that it's very good. It's especially, I know how hard for the parents of such people, and we will continue to make such projects in Uganda in the future. It's of course I know not easy for the parents, so we are more than happy to help those parents to cure at least a bit their challenges.
All right. So as you do the handover today, what have been a significant impact of that project to the children, to the parents, but also to the economy and community by and large?
Yeah, of course, it touches the people. I think such projects, when they touch the people on the ground, then you really see the positive effects. It's not only TICA, we also have NGOs in Uganda. And I always come across Ugandan people telling me about this NGO, that NGO, this has done this, the other one has done that. For example, during the last Eid al-Adha, we were hosting more than 20 NGOs from Turkey. They were slaughtering, as far as I know, more than 12,000 cattle, and distributing to the people in need all around Uganda. And whenever I go somewhere, oh, thank you very much, this NGO was here, and we were given this and that, and the water wells are opened, agricultural projects are made. So I'm more than happy to hear appreciation, and this also, of course, encourages us to do more.
Okay. All right. So as we're coming to the close of this conversation with you this morning, we want to find out from you, what else would you like Ugandans to know regards to our relations with Turkey?
Turkey, let me underline that Turkey stands with Uganda in her quest for further development and prosperity, and our understanding sincerely is that this is not a student-teacher relationship. This is a relation between the equals, and we believe in building partnership among the equals. This is the first thing, and I believe that as long as we continue our relation on this basis, we will see more development in all areas, because we are welcomed in Uganda and also in Africa, and we will continue to work with this understanding in the future.
Okay. So if we're going to be building partnerships that are equal with Uganda, have you eaten any Ugandan food?
Yeah, many of them.
What have you enjoyed most?
Of course, matoke is I have eaten, and we are also publishing in Turkey a book under the auspices of our First Lady Erdogan is heading this project, African recipes, and I was asked one recipe from Uganda, but the condition was that the ingredients should be also present in Turkey so that they can cook, and I have chosen chicken.
Luwombo.
Yes, chicken luwombo, and I even made it myself in my residence, and I have written a detailed recipe, and hopefully in the Uganda chapter this will be present.
Oh,
as
looking
chicken.
forward to that.
Yes.
Have you learned any local words?
Very few really.
Uganda, maybe?
Very few really. It's only maybe I have this mukama abakume. I memorized this for the end of our conversation.
Yes, indeed, mukama abakume, and your closing remarks, Ambassador.
Yeah, I really thank you for giving this opportunity. I'm very happy that you have given me the chance to share our joy of celebrating the centenary of the proclamation of our republic. And as I told you, I sincerely also hope that we will see the centenary celebrations of independence of Uganda in 2062.
Ambassador Fatih Ak has talked about building eco-partnerships, or partnerships among ecos, and that's how we ought to be looking at things. COVID-19 brought us the reality that at the end of the day, we are all on the same page, or should be on the same page. So we're grateful for this relationship with Turkey, and you as a Ugandan have a lot of opportunities that you can tap into, the scholarships that they've talked about, but also the over 60 projects that they are working on here in Uganda that you can participate in or benefit from thereof. So you can look out for those details across their platforms, website equally. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I am Priscilla Regina Nelwoga. Good morning.